Welcome back. Well, it is that season again, and we can't say it enough. Caroling once again. But this time, the 6th edition of the Akwa Ibom State Government's Christmas Carol Night is held in Uyo, the state capital. It is the brainchild of the Governor Godswill Akpabio. The event is conceived as an avenue for the promotion of peaceful coexistence, as well as the celebration of Christmas.
God's party to banish poverty from your lives.
This symbolic action by the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Godswill Akpabio, at the 30,000 capacity Uyo Sports Stadium complex signals the commencement of the 2013 Christmas Carol Night. The event brings together gospel artists, preachers, residents and visitors from the neighboring states and from outside the country in a unique commemoration of Christmas. The event has over time served as an avenue for the promotion of peaceful coexistence, religious and ethnic harmony, as well as an opportunity to showcase the achievements of the state government.
As a proof of his faithfulness, look around you and you will see that in the places where we used to have tribalism, we now have ethnic harmony. You will see around you that we now have development and massive infrastructure dotting the landscape of our dear state.
More music followed, but this time from Alvin Slaughter and Lionel Peterson. Then the exhortation by the presiding bishop of the Living Faith Church, David Oyedepo.
The important thing here as we start is that the birth of Christ can be summarized as good news. Good news. To the dying, life is now available. Good news. To the hungry, food is now accessible. Good news. To the prisoner, the prison gates are now opened. Good news to the sick, because your healing has now been paid for. Good news to the oppressed, because the turning of every captivity has finally come.
In all, 9,999 choristers from within and outside the country graced the event.
We can now bring you the reports on that letter that President Goodluck Jonathan has written in response to Chief Olusegun Obasanjo's letter to him. The president replied his predecessor in a 10-page response, which he referenced before it is too late. He gave 10 reasons why it is imperative to reply the former president, top of which he said was that Chief Obasanjo's letter clearly threatened national security and may inadvertently subvert the political structure of the country.
Exactly 11 days after former President Olusegun Obasanjo's famous letter to Dr. Goodluck Jonathan came to public attention, the president has finally broken his silence and replied. For President Goodluck Jonathan, his initial reluctance to reply was based on his belief that he considered Chief Obasanjo's letter as containing advice from a former president to a serving president. However, the reasons he has given for replying indicate that the handshake has gone beyond the elbow. Among other things, the president pointed out that Chief Obasanjo's letter posed a threat to national security and that the concerns expressed by Nigerians about the issues raised therein were legitimate. He also cites the timing of Chief Obasanjo's letter as coinciding with other releases, including the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the CBN governor's allegations that the president was condoning corruption. President Jonathan went ahead to address the thorny points raised in Chief Obasanjo's letter. On the issue of insecurity, He said his administration was dealing with the seeds of national security challenges sown by previous administrations. He also pointed out that contrary to Chief Obasanjo's claims, his administration had remained open to dialogue with insurgents and their supporters, which is in keeping with the carrot and stick option recommended. The president further reminded Chief Obasanjo of his failure to use that approach in the destruction of Odi community in the Niger Delta, which in turn helped in escalating the militancy problem. Dr. Jonathan's pain is evident in his reaction where he says, perhaps the most invidious accusation in your letter is the allegation that I've placed over 1,000 Nigerians on a political watch list and that I'm training snipers and other militia to assassinate people. He describes that allegation as grave injustice to his person, insisting that he has never been associated with political violence and the cases of political assassinations rampant under Obasanjo have never occurred under his watch. On the former president's accusation of encouraging corruption, President Jonathan insisted that the scourge has always been a national problem predating his administration, and while he has tried to deal with that problem, he adds that, quote, I will not shield any government official or private individual involved in corruption, but I must follow due process in all that I do. The president further disagrees with Chief Obasanjo's insinuation that he was causing disaffection within the PDP in his dealings with opposition party governors, insisting that it was part of his responsibility to relate with every state governor. He also defends the proposed national conference, saying it's aimed at promoting national unity. The president's reply becomes yet another in a series of private letters that have somehow found their way into the public domain. Is this the new trend in the country's politics? Where and from whom the next one will come, we can only wait and see. Charles Eruka, Channels Television News.
Well, I'm now being joined via telephone by Lagos-based legal practitioner, Mr. GT Ogunye, to throw more light on the president's letter. Mr. Ogunye, thank you so much for joining us on the news at 10. What do you make of the president's... Good evening. What do you make of the president's response? What do you make of his letter?
Yes, I read the letter, and I can say that, yes, the president has offered a general rebuttal of what ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo wrote in his letter to him and his other previous letters, which the president acknowledged in his letter. However, in terms of what the president has to offer Nigerians to allay their fears and to address their concerns, which the ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo's letter nearly captured, I'm not sure the president has achieved much. For example, the president generally denied that corruption has reached high levels, and he called on President Obasanjo to offer examples, to cite examples. That was very interesting. Whereas earlier in the presidential chat the president had generally denied that there is no corruption in Nigeria. And he accused Nigerians of over-celebrating corruption. In terms of whether the president has succeeded in addressing the concerns of Nigeria, which the ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo letter nearly captured, I'm not sure that the president has achieved much.
Yeah, I know one of those concerns, of course, is the training of snipers and militia to assassinate people. You say the president didn't address that properly? I mean, well, he didn't quite deny, though, that he was saying that he was not training snipers, but he never confirmed that he was. I mean, he left it to the former president to make up his mind on the issue.
Yes, exactly. The point I'm making is that letter generally denied all those allegations. As he said in law, it's like a general travers. And the president at the end of the letter said that the pressure of the work of state will not permit him to do a line-by-line rebuttal. The point, however, is that regarding the allegation of trading snipers. Yes, the president said that the allegation is not true, and that you want anybody who has any evidence to the contrary to come forward. However, President Kuti added that he has directed the security agencies and the National Human Rights Commission to investigate those specific allegations. Now, why I have issues with the President's general report that, for example, the President in denying that security situation in the country has become very grave, said that the first case of kidnapping in the country was around 2006, thereby implying that even under President Obasanjo's watch, kidnapping has started. But that's not the point. The point now is that
Mr. Wee, I'm sorry I have to cut in here. Hello, I'm sorry I have to cut in here, but going through, that quote again by the president, where he was addressing the issue of training snipers and other militia to assassinate people. I'm just reading here. The president, of course, denied that he was training snipers and training other militia to assassinate people in the country. I'm just reading that properly right now. But I'm afraid this is where we'll have to end this. Thank you so much for joining us on the news at 10. Well, don't forget, you can also read up more on the letter of President Goodluck Jonathan's response to the letter written by former President Olusegun Obasanjo on our website. It's www.channelstv.com. In sports news, the home-based Eagles will on Monday, December 27th, take on Nigeria's Premier League champions, Kano Pillars, in their last warm-up game before the 2014 African Nations Championship. A game against the domestic league champions is expected to be the toughest for the national team, which have so far played 3 practice games. Super Eagles assistant coach Daniel Amokachi says the invitation of new players and playing of practice matches will enable the coaches come up with a team that will do the country proud at the Chan tourney. Meanwhile, Libya's first suicide attack since the ousting of former leader Muammar Gaddafi has killed 7 people. Witnesses say the suicide bomber detonated a truckload of explosives earlier today at a security checkpoint near the town of Benghazi. The security situation in and around the town has been worsening in recent months, with extremist militia blamed for almost daily attacks. The recent incident reveals a shift in tactics different from the bombings and assassinations that have mainly targeted the security services. No one has yet claimed responsibility for the attack, but Benghazi, as we know it, is known to be a stronghold of the Islamist militia group Ansar al-Sharia. And the main news again, President Goodluck Jonathan today replied his predecessor, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, in a 10-page response which referenced before it is too late. He gave 10 reasons why it is imperative to reply the former president, top of which was that Chief Obasanjo's letter clearly threatened national security and may inadvertently subvert the political structure in the country. The president said that the most worrisome part of Chief Obasanjo's letter is where he alleged that he was training snipers and other militia to assassinate people. The president then asked his predecessor to apologize to the nation. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Good night.